Our study this afternoon is going to be that thoughts is a seed, or thoughts are seeds. Our verse is going to be Proverbs 23 verse 7. Proverbs 23 verse 7, which says, Proverbs 23 verse 7, which says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, says he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. That is, starting from verse 6, it says, eat thou not the bread from him that has an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meat. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, this is our verse. Hebu soma na Kiswahili.
Kiswahili nasema, usile mkate wa mtu mwenye husuda, wala usivitamani vyakula vyake vya anasa. 7. Maana aonavyo nafsini mwake ndivyo alivyo, akuambia, haya kula, kunywa, lakini moyo wake haui pamoja nawe.
Yes. So, in order to understand this topic, first of all, let us understand what thought is. Thought in itself is a seed. A seed is small, almost nothing. Yet it carries a hidden pattern. So too is a thought. It is not merely a passing sentence in mind, but a germ or form that, if received and repeated, begins to organize perception, desire, and action around itself. I want you to understand that first, because before we go on, let us take a seed of maize. A seed of maize, in itself, without being put into the soil, you cannot know it. You cannot know what it has. You cannot know what it has. But after it has grown, that's when you see this, what maize is. But in its inception, it's as if a seed of maize or any seed is nothing. Likewise, a thought is a seed. And without, if it can remain that, it's going to remain a seed. But here, it is not merely a passing sentence in the mind, but a germ or form that, if received and repeated, is a germ. A germ ni kitu kidogo, something small. It is in the mind. But how is it going to be something? This thought, if repeated, kufikiria, that thought, that's when it is going to be something. That's when that thought is going to be something. Ndio itakuwa kitu. It begins to organize perception, desire, and action around itself. inaanza kuorganize. That thought yenyewe ndio inaanza kuorganize kila kitu. Sasa si umefikiria hivi, that thought umefikiria ndio itaanza kuorganize, ndio itaanza kuona nimefikiria hivi, kwa hivyo hapa lazima iende hivi, hapa lazima iende hivi. So that thought itaanza kuorganize thing to itself. Why? Because it must grow, just like a seed, another seed. So some thoughts are seeds of light. Higher, some thoughts are seeds of thorns, which means thoughts are seeds. Kwa hivyo kumaanisha some thoughts are seed of light, some are seeds of thorns. Just the same way, when you look at a farm, you'll find that some seeds are good, some are thorns, some are whatever. That's the way that our thoughts are. Some are good, some are evil. So, the mystic wants that the mind is a field. Whatever is welcomed become a beginning of embodiment. Mind is a field. Our mind ni field. Ni kama shamba. Vile unaenda unalima shamba. Hii shamba, no matter what seed you put there, itafanya nini? It'll grow. Whatever is welcome in that farm, it will grow. That's how our mind is. Our mind is a field. Thoughts are not equal. A thought can be empty wind. Is a thought imekuja lakini inapita. Or it can be a covenant. The seed that repeat becomes a root. Ni mafikira mengi sana uanga unafikiria, lakini out of the thoughts ambayo uanga zinatoka kwako, kuna zingine they take root na some they are just passing wind. Zingine zinakuja tu zinapita, they don't take root. Inaweza kuwa tambaya sana, lakini it doesn't take root. Lakini kuna ile inaweza tokea hata ikiwa baya namna gani, it take root. Na ikitake root lazima itafanya kazi. Kwa hivyo thoughts they are not equal. Kuna zingine they are empty. Inakuja lakini inaenda. It won't have root in you. It won't have roots in you. So, water, we see we have water. Water in the field does not create a seed, but the water makes the seed to germinate. So, water does not create seed, but it awakens it. Just the same way, feeling is a moisture of attention. Our feeling is the one which moistens our thoughts. Our feelings act like water. Our feeling supplies warmth, energy, and insistence. A thought that is emotionally fed becomes real in the body. So you can have a thought, and if that thought is emotionally fed, it becomes real in the body. It is us who water the seed. It is us who water the seed in us. Sisi wenyewe ndio tunaiwater. Just the way we water the seed in a field, that's the way we water these seeds of thoughts in us. We water them. So the mystics do not condemn feelings, because we are human beings. We must have feelings and emotions. But they teach transmutation. The same fire that burns in passion can burn a devotion. So which means there's no one time we can say that we are not going to have feelings. There's no one time to say that we are like robots, or we are like stones. No. Even a gesture from somebody can make you have a bad feeling. So feelings are there. So these feelings, if our feeling is the one which is going, we are going to allow our feeling to water our thoughts, that is a disaster, as we are going to see. So what happens? When a destructive thoughts appear, do not only fight the thought, notice what is watering it. When a destructive thought appears, do not only fight the thought, notice what is watering it. Because thoughts lazima zitokee. Unaweza fikiria, hata kuna wakati unaweza fikiria juu ya mtu, unasikia umemdharau, na ni kufikiria tu. Mpaka akikuongelesha unaweza hata tusi yeye. Wewe mwenyewe umefikiria. And from that kufikiria juu yake, that's a thought imekuja. If you are going to water it with what you think about him, sasa wewe ndio umeharibu. Kwa sababu that thought imetokea. Lakini that thought ambayo imetokea, it is you who is going to water that thought. And it is you who unaweza kataa kuiwater that thought. Now when you refuse to water it, it will die. So, when a destructive thought appears, do not only fight the thought, notice what is watering it. Nini na hii thought imetokezea? Nini na what is watering that thought? What emotional fuel is being poured? Withdraw the water, toa hiyo emotions, that water by the water that, and the seed cannot sprout. Na hiyo mbegu itaishia pale. Haitaendelea kutoka pale. Which means, if we are careful with our life as Christian, we can always water or destroy the seed before even it starts sprouting. Manake kama ni kitu umefikiria, unaweza fikiria yani vibaya mtu, already unajiuliza why. Is it self? Inanisukuma? Unaona yes, hii ni self sasa imeingia, unakataa. Unasema hapana. Because the moment you allow self to interfere, it becomes the watering of that thought. Inaanza kuwater that thought. Ile umefikiria juu ya huyo mtu, you start watering it. Na you are watering, origination yake is not from God. It's from you as a person. Because it is your thoughts. Kwa hivyo kumaanisha, your judgment cannot always be what? Be true. What you are judging. You might be wrong. Because it is a thought, you have thought of that person, and you have watered that thought with what you think about that person. So, and that thought in a sprout, yani inakufanya uwe wild ama react kulingana na that thought. So habit is harvest. Harvest is a visible fruit. That means what we have thought, what we have watered, what we are going to become because of our watering, that is our harvest, which is a visible fruit. And itaonekana. So character, destiny, our character, our destiny, the shape of life will depend on how we harvest our thoughts. Habit habit is thought and feeling made automatic. Habit is thought and feeling made automatic, embodied, repeated, normalized, until it becomes me, and then becomes my world. Kwa hivyo utaona what are we trying to look at? Utakuja kuona what we become, what we are, the way we react. It is the habit, is our habit, is how we have become we. Tumekuwa sisi kwa sababu of our thoughts, our understanding, our thinking. That's what we have we have formed a habit because of our thinking. So sasa tunataka kusema we have all been thinking since our childhood, and we have formed what we are through our thoughts and whatever. But then in every life, thoughts hakuna wakati zinaisha. They keep on coming. They are seeds planted, na lazima tuwe nazo na zinatokezea, na hakuna wakati utakaa bila thoughts. Hata ukiwa umelala unafikiria mambo zingine. So our habit is the body remembering. When you see somebody with a certain habit, ujue that is his body remembering what it has been given or watered with through our thoughts. That's what has formed our body and our habit, in our life. Hiyo ndio utakuja kusema huyo the trait hiyo habit huyo mtu iko na hii, mtu ukimfanyia hivi anakuwa hivi. Hiyo yote ni ile imezaliwa kulingana na yale mafikira you have been thinking yourself. Let me tell you, you might even be thinking of somebody. Wewe saa yote unafikiria huyu mtu mabaya. No matter what he does, wewe always unafikiria huyu mtu hanipendi, hanifanyi mazuri. That one, it can become a habit. Na that habit kuitoa sio rahisi. Hata huyo mtu akikutadikia hata akupatie gold, you have formed a habit in you that habit, no matter what that person does, hakuna wakati utaona amefanya vizuri. Those are the habit ambayo umeform through your thoughts. Na hiyo, it is in all of us, because that's the way we are. Kuna mtu hata akijaribu kukufanya namna gani, wewe kabisa roho yako impendi. So habit is a body remembering. If thought is conception and feeling is gestation, habit is birth. What enters the world through you. Habit is the birth. What enters the world through you. You become your habit is what has entered the world through you. That what you call yourself is a habit which has been formed by your thoughts about what surrounds you, your friends, your parents, umezaliwa na wapi, what you have grown since, then you are going to form a habit. And that habit is what you are going to call yourself. The problem is, after forming this habit, no matter hata ikiwa mbaya, uwezi taka iwe accused na mtu. Na hapo tulisikia Kristo akisema, wewe, mimi kazi yangu nataka tu unikubali tu, you become empty, ndio nipate nafasi. Kwa sababu gani? So we have formed a habit in us that this habit is ourself. Na tuwezi taka ibomolewe, not without a lot of pain. Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni ngumu sana. So one thing we should understand, that thought is the word conceived in the inner mind. That is the thought. Thought is the word conceived in the inner mind. That means when we say word, any seed is a word. Any seed is a word. And if that seed is going to be watered, it's going to form something. So we are formed by our thoughts. Feeling is a spirit breath that warms and moves it. Our feelings do in a move. Do in a make that thoughts and feelings do inafanya hizo your seed is proud. So habit is the flesh. The word made embodied pattern. What we see as flesh, mwili, it is a word made flesh. And that word made flesh is out of these thoughts. Hivyo hiyo tuelewe. So the teaching can be read as inner incarnation. Kwa hivyo our teaching, ourself, what we see, we call ourselves, it is inner incarnation. It is incarnation of what is going on inward, ambayo sisi hatuelewi. Sisi tunajiona tunasema ni sisi, but there is incarnation ambayo imefanyika, because the words, thoughts hizi ndio zimeleta zikakufanya ukawa vile uko, mpaka ukapata mpaka your habit, mwili na kila kitu. It's only we don't understand. So if false word is conceived, it becomes a false incarnation. If true word is conceived, it becomes a true incarnation. That is freedom. Which means, even if we hate somebody, even if whatever we think of someone, the best thing is to think good about somebody. Because what we are going to think of that somebody, there is going to be incarnation in us which will automatically hate that person. Because we, if we conceive this word, if we conceive a false word, when you say false word, nikisema false word kumaanisha it is a false thought, because we see people going, we talk with the people, but nobody can say ati huyu mtu mimi najua his inner thinking. We have had friends, mnakaa na mtu miaka mingi sana, lakini hujajua yeye intention yake ilikuwa nini. Alikuwa anaongea vizuri, lakini ndani yake alikuwa nini? Alikuwa na a bad person. Lakini wewe mwenyewe ulikuwa unaona kama ni mtu mzuri. Mwingine ulikuwa unafikiria ni mtu mbaya. Unaona huyo mtu kabisa akupenda ni mbaya, lakini yeye he had a good thought of you. Yeye hakuwa hivyo. Wewe ndio ulifanya nini? Wewe ndio ulifanya misconception. That which means you conceived a false word about him. And that false word about him, so no matter what he says, hautaikubali. Utaikataa kwa sababu there is that habit in you which has formed about that person. So if true word is conceived, it becomes a true incarnation. So if you conceive true words, that is, you think that good thoughts, that incarnation is going to take place in you, and that what you thought about that person, ama whatever you thought or anything, itabadilika. So before we go further, let us see a spiritual dialogue between the soul and Christ, or the divine wisdom, so that we may understand more about thoughts. Because sometimes dialogues help us to see, because is God helping us to ask questions which we ourselves cannot ask, and then we get the deeper answers of what we are asking. So the man asked, I have followed you through words, through patterns, through words. Now even meaning feels heavy. What remains when understanding fails? Here, the man goes on to say, I am tired of my fruits. Sasa ni yale mambo anafikiria, fruits ya mambo yenye anafikiria. I am tired of my fruits. I did not choose them, yet they hung from me. Fear ripened into habit. Longing hardened into chains. Why do I reap what I do not desire? Because you see here, he's asking, when we check ourselves truly as human beings, you will find that there are many things, thoughts that goes inside ourselves, and sometimes there are fruits ambayo wanga through our thoughts wanga zina happen kwa sababu ya mafikiri yenye tumefikiria, ama vile sisi tunafikiria in our life, either in business, in whatever. Lakini unakuta those fruits zio zile wewe mwenyewe ungetaka, ni mambo mengine yametokezea kulingana na mafikira yako. So ninasema I am tired of my fruits. Maana nafikiria hivi lakini najikuta hivyo nilikuwa nafikiria sio hivyo. Maybe imeniletea shida sana kuliko hata vile nilikuwa nafikiria. Afadhali hata ningeenda hii njia. I am tired of my fruits. I do not choose them, yet they hang for me. You know, thoughts here, as we are going to see, some thoughts tumesema, they just come. Those are like seeds. Now these thoughts, seeds, yani some are good, some are not good, some are thorns. Lakini unakuta saa zingine mtu hakutaka thorns, lakini thoughts zimekuja mpaka zimekuwa thorns. Zimekuwa sasa hata kabisa zimeumiza mpaka hata kuliko hata vile angetaka. Sasa ndio nasema I'm tired of my fruits. I did not choose them, yet they hang for me. Fear ripened into habit, longing hardened into chains. Why do I reap what I do not desire? Because inafika pahali wacha tuangalie, wacha tusiangalie hata short time, wacha tuangalie in the long term. Mtu anaenda anafika pahali mpaka unakuta vile amekuwa ama ile habit ametengeneza imekuwa a chain, imemfunga. He is reaping, yeye anasema I do not reap what yani why do I reap what I do not desire? Ukiangalia watu wote wako duniani wote wanalia. Kila mmoja ako na shida hii, kila mwingine ako na shida hii. And each person hata akilia, he has reaped what he has not desired. Hakuna mtu anakuambia mimi nitaka kuwa hivi. Hata ukikuta mtu ambaye amrevi zaidi na maisha yake imeharibika, umuulize kwa nini umekuwa pale. He'll tell you I never decided my life to be this way. I never thought it itakuwa hivi. Hakuna mtu anapenda, usidanganywe. Anajikuta tu ameingia pahali, mambo imefika, lakini yeye hajui ni mafikiri yake ndio imemfikisha pale. Because Christ anamwambia, because you forgot when desire was small. There was a time the desire, what came as a thought, the desire was very small. Meaning, that thought ambayo labda imekupeleka pale imefika, it had no power. Because you forgot when the desire was small. You look at the harvest and call it fate. I look at the seed and call it memory. Unaona sasa? So yeye anamwambia you look at the harvest and you call it fate. Sasa unaona sasa hii, yani ukiangalia harvest pale umefika ama vile kitu imekuficha pale fulani, unaona hii siku zaidi itakuwa hivi. Unaona sasa hii mashida imekuaje? Why has I reached this point? Nimefika hivi namna gani? You see fate. Yani unaona nikana kwamba is a bad omen in your life vile umefika pale umefika. And sometimes unakuta tukiangalia katika life wengine wanaanza kublame hata their parents, wengine wanaanza kublame their brothers, wengine hata yani relatives, hata mwingine sasa anaanza kusema watu wetu waweze kukusaidia sijui nini. Hiyo mambo yote watu wanaweka, wanaangalia kana kwamba ni kukataa, wamekataa kusaidiwa. Sasa Kristo anamwambia wewe unaangalia, you look at the harvest and call it fate. Ni kusema ni bahati mbaya ati mimi ni mtu ambaye wa mikosi. Lakini Kristo anamwambia I look at the seed and call it memory. Mimi naangalia the seed, how it came about, ilianzia wapi. So vile umekuwa kwangu is a memory of the seed which you have nurtured, which you have watered through your life. Kwangu I see a memory. It is that which is you which has come out. Yale ulikuwa nafikiria ndio hayo unayaona. You look at the harvest and call it faith. I look at the seed, I call it a memory. But the man asked, show me the seed then. I only see branches and shadows. Show me the seed then. I only see branches and shadows. Sasa yeye anasema hata show me the seed, because hata hiyo seed sasa haelewi, hajielewi. Kristo akimwambia wewe unaangalia the harvest, sasa yeye anataka hata afundishwe hii seed ni gani ambaye yeye haioni, ambaye imekuwa hivyo, ambaye imekuwa yeye. So Kristo anamwambia before the branch there was a whisper. Eli kusema mbegu kidogo, a whisper. Before the whisper, an agreement. Which means hata kana kwamba branch ijatokezea, that means ujaanza kuwa vile huko, there was a whisper ambaye ilikuwa ina whisper that which you are now. Na before hiyo whisper itokezee, there was an agreement. What agreements? An agreement with you, with yourself, what you are going to be. A thought knocked. You did not test it. You let it lie down in you. So Christ anamwambia namna gani? A thought knocked. You did not test it. You let it lie down in you. Ni kumaanisha hiyo unaona, na vile umekuwa, tukiangalia long time bado ni thought, tukiangalia short time in action bado ni thought, inafanya uone hivyo unaona. Sasa nasema a thought knocked, you did not test it. Kuna fikra ilikuja ikaingia, lakini wewe mwenyewe huku test your thought. There is a seed ilikuja ikatokezea, na hiyo wakati ilikuja ikatokezea, you never tested that thought. So what did you do? You reacted. In our lifetime, we are also made of thoughts. We are what we have been thinking throughout our life. So uangalie katika long time na short term, kwa sababu in our daily life hii mafikira tunaifikiria na waga tuna react all the time. So a thought knocked, you did not test it, you let it lie down in you. Now the man anauliza, but thoughts come unbidden. Am I guilty for what appears? Thought comes unbidden. Nikumaanisha mafikira inaweza kuja ingie unbidden. Nikumaanisha sio wewe umetafuta, lakini kitu inakuja, thoughts inatokezea, unafikiria hivi, na wewe kabisa imekuja na unafikiria. Sasa ndio nauliza, mafikira ingine waga inakuja na sio mimi nimefanya hiyo mafikira ikuje. Na anauliza, am I guilty for what happens, what appears? Kwa sababu mimi nilifikiria hivi, wakati nifikiria hivi na nika am I guilty? Na mimi mwenyewe sio yani hii thought ilitokezea tu, na mimi kabisa sio mimi niliambia ikuje, lakini mafikira yangu. Na wacha nikwambie, wakati thought imekuja utaanza kusema mimi, wewe utaanza kusema mimi nimefikiria na nimeona, kwa sababu hiyo thought imekuja na ukaishika ikawa ni wewe. Sasa utaanza kusema mimi nimefikiria na nimeona. So wanasema but thought comes unbidden. Am I guilty for what appears? Show me the seed then. Sorry. Christ says, no. You are not the field because seeds fall. You are the field because you remain open. you become a field because you remain open. Ni kumaanisha wewe, shida ni wewe, kwa sababu wewe ndio umekuwa open with the seeds, thoughts zikiingia kwako, ikiingia you remain open na unaikubali, yani iaze kufuata, yani kuwa nurtured. Sikia, you are not filled because seed fall, you are the filled because you remain open. A bird may pass, ndege inaweza kupita, but it is only nesting that makes a home. Ndege kama inaweza ipite hivi, ikiwa hata ikiwa inapita inaruka inaenda hivi, it is only nesting, ile kiota pale inakaa ndio itafanya ipate nini? Ipate nyumba ama iishi. Sawa? Is only nesting that will make a home. Lakini kama hiyo ndege itapita without kiota ama pale, yani ita nest, itaenda na hiyo iishe. Ni kumaanisha thoughts zinaweza kuja tu, this is the heart. Ama tuache tuseme the mind. Thoughts zinaweza kuja, inakuja inapita kama ndege. Ingine inakuja inapita, ingine inakuja inapita. Lakini nesting ni kumaanisha umeallow a thought to nest. Umeitengenezea kiota. Sasa hiyo umeipatia nyumba. Sasa naambiwa a bird may pass, but it's only nesting that makes a home. So the man asked, then why do some thoughts grow and others vanish? Christ anamwambia, because you loved one and ignored the other. Because you loved one and ignored the other. So here, I want you to see it, because it is very important. Hapa sasa, you loved some and ignored others. Hizi thoughts tumesema zingine they are thorns. Zingine they are love ama goodness, good. You'll find that in most cases, because of our nature, utakuja kuona sometimes we even ignore thoughts which are of love. Zile thoughts za upendo tuna ignore, and then we welcome the thoughts which are of thorns, zile mbaya. Na unajua mtu anaweza kusema hapana, mimi siwezi. That's what we do. Why? Because why do we call them thorns? They are only thorns to whoever you are going to inflict, but to you they are not thorns. So long as far as this life is concerned, as far as self is concerned, they are not thorns. Kwako, they are not thorns. They are only thorns because they are going to hurt the other person. And when they are hurting the other person, you are ignoring the good thoughts, because the good thoughts would have even made that person or loved that person than hurting him. So you ignore that, you take the thorns. So Christ is telling him, because you loved one and ignored the other. Feeling is the rain you never notice. Feeling is the rain that you never notice. Feeling, you are feeling. Hiyo ndio mvua ambayo wewe ufanye nini? Haujui, hauielewi, hata ujui ni kwa nini utareact. But your feelings ndio itakuwa mvua ambayo itanyeshea your thoughts. Sasa nikumaanisha wewe, if you are not careful, utakuwa driven by the feeling of the other person than the feeling of the other person, of your feeling. Which feeling? The feeling of hurting the other person. And that's by nature how we are. We want to inflict, we want to hurt. We want others to feel pain. We want to revenge. We want all that is our feeling. So that feeling is the one which is going to nurture that thought. Christ is telling him that feeling, it will nurture the thought. That thought. Na hiyo that thought itakuwa nini? Sikiza. Because you loved one and ignored the other. Feeling is a rain you never notice. It waters silently. What you fear deeply, you feed faithfully. What you resent, you keep warm. What you adore, you grow without effort. Nasikia, what you fear deeply, you feed faithfully. You see, what you fear, you feed faithfully. Unakuta, wewe, maybe you fear, you know, what you fear, for example, tunaweza kusema namna gani? How can I put it? Ndio labda tuione. Feeling is a rain you never notice. It waters silently. So which means, what are you feeling? Hizi feelings zako ni gani? Feeling, what you fear, it is to be unworthy. It is to be looked unworthy, honored, not honored. In short, what you fear is to be diminished. Self yako iwe diminished. Every person, and I want you to get this, every person, what he has become, or will always fear to lose it. Nobody wants to lose who he is. That not now a child of God, not Christ's nature, our nature ile tulizaliwa naye. Always iwage nataka kusimama. That's what we fear to lose. That's what we fear to lose. So hapa anasema what you fear deeply, you feed faithfully. So you are feeding because you don't want to lose that self. You are going to feed it faithfully. You are going to be faithful to that, which means you are going to nurture that. Your thought is going to nurture self to the point that it is going to protect you. You are going to protect yourself, no matter what. No matter what somebody says. That's what happened. What you resent, you keep warm. What you adore, you grow without effort. So, I did not know my heart was so powerful. I did not know my heart was so powerful. Christ, you call it power only after it rules you. That's why I realized I did not know my heart was so powerful. Kwa hivyo hakuwa anajua yeye, the self yake is so powerful that it can nurture a thought and do na direct that thought to do what you want. Now that it has power, that it has power to change a seed of thought to harm or to do what that person, to protect self. So that you know this, I did not know my heart was so powerful. You call it power only after it rules you. So you think it is powerful because already maybe you have won or whatever, but it has already ruled you. Thus you think that it is powerful because it is ruling you. So, na nasema, the heart is always king. The heart is always king. The question is only what sits on its throne. The heart, is only, And Christ says, the heart is always king. The question is only what sits on its throne. Nani anakaa? Nani ambaye ameingia pale kwa throne ambaye anataka kutawala? Because you will find that when you come to thoughts, hizi thoughts tumesema they are like seeds. Now they are going only to grow in accordance with our feeling. And our feelings is the heart, is our heart. So our heart is the one which will be transforming every thought that comes in us. Kila inaingia, our heart inabadilisha. Why? Because it wants to protect self. Inataka to protect self. And Christ anataka kubomoa self. So what happens? Teach me how to stop watering what destroys me. Sasa the man anauliza, teach me how to stop watering what destroys me. That's the man asking. Now Christ anamwambia, do not fight the plant. Withdraw the rain. And kusema, if a plant is growing somewhere, kama unataka kuimaliza, ondoa maji. Withdraw the rain. Do not lessen the thoughts. Sasa ufikiri thoughts hazitakuja. Thoughts zitakuja. Unafikiria mabaya, unafikiria hivi. Anasema, do not lessen the thought, remove the warmth. Mafikira ambaye warmth ambaye ulikuwa nafikiria about something, you have, and by doing it you are watering the thoughts. Ukitoa, don't lessen the thought. The thought will come. Odoa, remove the warmth. Ile inafanya hiyo thought iwe fed. Attention is food. Silence is famine. What is not fed returns to dust. Kwa hivyo kumaanisha our thoughts, especially when anger rises, we should not water it. Because what is not fed returns to the dust. If only we could keep quiet, if only we could only not feed our thoughts, vile tuko tunafikiria kila kitu, hakuna, yani utakuwa kabisa that thoughts will go to dust. Na utakuwa kabisa umezuia mambo mengi sana. So the man asked, and habit, why does it feel heavier than choice? And habit, why does it feel heavier than choice? Yani heavier than choice kumaanisha my habit, wakati nimekosoa ama wakati yani what I have become, it is heavier than for me now to choose. Because whatever I am now, I cannot choose. My habit is heavier. Nikana kwamba inani control in that direction. Because I have become that habit. Sasa yani why does it feel heavier than choice? Kaiza anamwambia, because habit is a choice that has forgotten it was once chosen. No. Because habit is a choice that has forgotten it was once chosen. Because habit is thought that learned to walk alone. It is the body remembering what the mind once rehearsed. Yani ni kumaanisha you have habit. What to tell me, for example, you have learned somebody, and throughout your life there is something you thought about someone. You have formed a habit of that person, and that habit that you have formed of that person, even if you try to forget it, it has formed in you that habit. has formed in you about that person. So what is going to happen? That's why Christ is saying here, habit is a thought that learn to walk alone. It is a body remembering what the mind once rehearsed. There was a time we had that notion of that somebody. So, and that notion you had of that somebody is now recurring because the body is remembering. And when the body remembers, you will find that you are going to act everything as if that thing has resurrected in a new way. Because here, and habit, why does it feel heavier than choice? Because hapa ungetaka kufanya vizuri, lakini habit inakuwa heavier than choice. Ni kusema to choose good. To choose good. Tuseme nimekukosea ama umekosana na mtu. Tulikuwa tumekosana once. Na kama tulikuwa tumekosana na once, tumekutana sasa tena. Na yale tulikuwa tumekosana tumemaliza. So, kama tumemaliza, ni kumaanisha I'm supposed to forget everything. Lakini ujue kuna ile habit ilikuwako, huyu mtu ako hivi. Kuna hiyo habit ilikuwako. But now, hiyo habit, it becomes heavier than choice. Which choice? Choice of doing good to that person. That habit inakuwa heavier. Ni kumaanisha wakati kitu kidogo kimetokea, unaweza kuta wewe unaambia mtu, wewe unajua uko namna hii. Wewe unajua uko, because that habit imekuwa heavier than choice to choose which is good now. Ndio Christ anasema. Because habit is a choice that has forgotten it was once chosen. Which means now you have forgotten, yani that habit, you had chosen it, it was there before, but you have, because you have forgotten that you had chosen it, and it is you had chosen it. Now it is why when it recur, unakuta hauna choice ya kufanya mazuri. You are going to follow that habit because it is there. Kwa hivyo nasema habit is thought that learn to walk alone. It is a body remembering what the mind once rehearsed. You say, this is who I am. Sasa namwambia, you say this is whom I am. Kwa sababu utakuja kuona everybody ta complain, mimi niko namna hii. Na ukitaka kujua wakati mmekosana na mtu, au atasema mimi sipendi hii, na mimi nikiona hii nafanya hivi. Mimi nikiwa hivi nafanya hivi. Always will say that. He will always refer to himself. So Christ anamwambia, you say this is whom I am. Mimi niko hivi. I say, na anamwambia, I say this is what you repeated. Hii unasema huko, you have been repeating it in you mpaka imekuwa nani? Imekuwa wewe. Hivyo ndio anamwambia. Sio kusema ati sasa wewe ati hivyo huko, hapana. It is you who has repeated it mpaka imeform a habit in you. That even that habit sasa unashindwa kutoka. So the man asked, can the harvest be undone? Because I have harvested that. Can the harvest be undone? Kwa sababu nimekuwa hivyo, and that is what I harvested. Kulingana na mafikira yangu, can it be undone? Inaweza badilishwa because is a habit ambayo nimekuwa naye. Inaweza kubadilishwa. Na Kristo anamwambia, no harvest is eternal except love. No harvest is eternal except love. So whatever behavior, whatever habit which you have repeated back in a form in you, it is not permanent. It's only that it is you who is repeating it. It's not permanent. Only love of God is permanent. But every harvest, nasema, anamwambia, but every harvest reveals the soil. Kwa hivyo kumaanisha if there is something which has come and repeated itself, ina reveal the soil. Pali bado imefanya nini? Imepandwa. Kwa hivyo inafanya nini? Inamea. Numaanisha you have not uprooted those thoughts that you thought, that you have forgotten, that you thought, you have forgotten. Umesahau atulikuwa unasifikiria. Hizo thoughts ndio hizo zinaleta shida. Hizo thoughts zinaonesha tu pahali zilikuwa zimepandwa bado ziko na zinamea. So wanasema no harvest is internal except love, but every harvest reveals the soil. Look gently at what you reap. It is not accusation, it is instruction. Look gently at what you reap. It is not accusation. You are not being accused. It is instruction. And that's where we go wrong as Christians. Because sometimes when we come to a point whereby we need to learn these things and see, na tustoe kabisa, unakuta our heart inarudi to our habit. Inaenda katalia pale. Na hata tunafunga masikio. But Christ anasema it is not accusation, it is instruction. Because that is the truth. Then the soul asked, or the man asked, then speak to me as a gardener, not a judge. Naye Christ anamwambia very well. Kama ndivyo nataka very well. Christ anamwambia choose one seed only. Simple, living and true, and bury it deep. Sasa if truly ndio hapa ndio unakumbuka hapa tumeambiwa these thoughts ziko thoughts which are thoughts and which are good. Is ambaye ni thoughts ambaye ulikuwa umezipanda, kama labda hauelewi, umesahau wewe ndio ulikuwa umezipanda, because that's the by nature way we are. Hizi ndio naambiwa sasa hapa, hizi ndio shida. Kwa hivyo sasa nauliza naweza fanya namna gani? Anaambiwa you choose one seed only, simple, living, true. True ni kumaanisha bury it deep. Uende na nini sasa? Uende na ukweli as a Christian. Where na hapa kwenda ukweli ni pahali you will never regard self anymore. No matter what is done to you, self uiondoe. Ati nilikuwa nafikiria hapana, no. Hiyo those are forgotten habit ambaye zinaleta shida sana. Anasema choose one seed only. Water it not with emotion, but with the presence. That is grace. Return to it daily without urgency. Let habit be born without force. That is a new habit. And the man asked, and what seed do you give me? Ni mbegu gani utanipatia? What seed do you give me? Naye Kristo anasema, I give you myself, not as concept, but as a word that refuse noise. Yani, not as a concept. Concept ni kumaanisha ni kutaka tu kuongea juu ya Kristo as a concept, but as a word that refuse noise. Meaning, interruption of the evil thoughts ama thorns, hiyo wacha. Anamwambia I am not explained, not defended, not improved. Let it fall into you and do nothing else. Now the man asked, always what you receive inwardly must one day appear outwardly. I do not incarnate by miracle, I incarnate by consent. Then the man asked, then my life is a gospel written without ink. Yes, your thoughts are its verses. Your feeling, it's rhythm. Your habit, it's chant. One day, all words will fall silent, and the field will know it was always mine. Until then, tend the soil. Now the man says, stay with me while I learn. President Mambia, I never left. I was waiting for you to notice what you are watering. So, let's get. I never left. I was always waiting for you to notice what you are watering. Nini you are watering. So, I think that is a teaching that we need to, all of us, to meditate upon it, because it is a problem with all Christians. Not all Christians, because when we come to the wicked men, that's their survival. But as a Christian, we should know about our thoughts. Let us never think evil of any person. Let us not accuse anyone because you think of somebody of what he is thinking about you. That's not Christianity. That is wrong. Because you are not a judge, you cannot judge anything. You judge, you remove. No matter, even if you think evil of somebody, what Christ has told us is to plant the right seed, not the thorns. Our thoughts should always think good, but not hurt. Sawa? Tuko pamoja? Okay, thank you.